What's going on, guys? Sinjin Thunk here with Team Absolute Awesome, bringing you guys another awesome video here on Master Duel. Absolutely enjoying this game to the absolute maximum. Could not have had asked for something better. But we have hit Plat 1, and I would love to show you guys the deck that I took to Plat 1 and my experiences with it. Sorry if there's some barking in the background, that's my dogs. But if you guys want to send me a friend request, I try to follow everyone who follows me. I got to catch up a little bit here, as you can tell. But this is our code, so go ahead if you'd like. We are planning on doing tournaments over at our Discord, so that'll be linked in the description below. So go ahead and hop over there and jump in, and you will be informed on when we choose to do those. But we're going to talk about the deck that I think is not only the single most expensive deck to build, maybe not my version, but definitely the most expensive deck to build. And what I think is one of the most fun and a absolutely competitive deck, and that is Heroes. And we're going to jump right on in here into the deck profile. So we're going to be straightforward on everything, and we're going to talk about the glaring thing, which is Max C. Max C is tremendous. There's no reason not to run Max C when it's at 3. It helps fix bad hands. It helps you get into situations that just absolutely cause you to win the game. So there's no reason not to run Max C. So we're running Max C. You don't have to craft the Max C if you don't want to. I know that eventually Konami plans to go over to a TCG list. But for me, I mean, having the option and just to be able to wax myself straight over to tier 1, Plat 1, why not? And it did everything I could have asked for and more. But we're going to talk about these things in different packages. We're going to, obviously we can't edit them, this is how the decks just get built. But we're going to talk about the Vision Hero package first. We'll start with Increase. I know this is one of the back and forth cards. Some people wanted it 1, some people wanted it 2. I put it at 2 because I was opening it far too frequently. It was becoming an issue where I wasn't having it in deck to resolve, and I needed it in certain situations where I did still win some games, but I would have rather have not had to fight as hard or have gone as long as it did. So 2 just kind of helped me get rid of that situation. Following on with the Vision Heroes, we have Vion. Vion is just an incredible Vision Hero. Lots of synergy with what it does for the deck. You can really just start a lot of combos just based on Vion himself. So I loved Vion. 2 is perfect. Let me open one and be fine, have one in the deck still, or, you know, I could play Vion as my only card if that was the case, which was very rare, and you'll see why as the deck progresses, but I enjoyed 2 a great deal. Final Vision Hero is going to be Ferris. A lot of people are running it at 2 and 3 back and forth, and I know there's some people obviously on the fence as well with this. 2 was perfect for me, especially with 3 Hero Lives and 3 Stratos. I could not have asked for a better ratio, and it allowed me to see cards that I really wanted more, and more frequently at that. So I really enjoyed just running the 2. That is it for the Vision Heroes. We'll talk about our Elemental Heroes now. We run 3 Stratos. Obviously, Stratos is the man. I mean, it's Stratos. I don't really have to talk too much about him. His first effect does come in handy, especially with things like IO still being in the meta. I did, in our final rank up to Plat 1, use Stratos to pop an IO, where my opponent really had a card-for-card out for everything we had, even down to the droplets. So it was insane to be able to get through that because of Stratos. And let it just swing for a game on that turn. Stratos is just amazing. I don't have to talk too much on this. Following that up, we have the Elemental Hero Liquid Soldier. I would run 2, but I think if I did that, I'd probably prioritize a second Shadow Mist. The first effect is like a Wolf Bark effect where you get to bring one back from the grave. You can't use them both on the same turn, unfortunately, but that's pretty cool. Has a lot of resources to it. But the ability to draw 2 and get your hand just even further, or prepare for a nib and be able to play out of it, is awesome. So super powerful card. Talking about the Shadow Mist, we do run 1 copy of Shadow Mist. I would love to run a second, but 1 just seems to be where it's at. I'm already super strapped for space. And then the final Elemental Hero in our main deck is going to be the Elemental Hero Honest Neos. This card isn't ultra rare, and like I said, this deck is obscenely expensive. You can choose to not craft this, but it did get me out of some situations, I'm not going to lie. It is a really cool way to out Crooked Cook. Shout out to Hanko Chow. You can check him out on TCG Player. He does blogs over there for them. This is he gave me the heads up really to kind of prepare for Crooked Cook, and this is a way to kind of out the card. Other cards of that nature as well. So I think it has a lot of resource ability in the deck. But it's optional. It's definitely optional. You don't have to run it. But I really did get the value out of crafting this card for sure. Moving on to the Destiny Heroes, we do the 1 Dyna Tag. We could choose to do a level 4 for the burn effects, but it really doesn't come up as much as you would think it would. And, you know, sometimes you're going to kill them normally with just the 1000 boost. And in some, and you know, if you're able to, they're able to live for whatever reason, you're able to still Trident play them that way. And I just think that's a little better. So without having to make the Dread Decimator. So I enjoy the down tag over that, and I don't think we're really worrying about the burn effect for the time aspect, obviously. So, 2 Malicious, obviously just a superior Destiny hero to run. You can do other ones as well. I like Malicious, obviously. I think everyone's in agreement. Malicious is the card. It's the card. I don't have to explain too much about it. Gonna sneeze. Okay, I was hoping that would only be once. Normally it's multiple times. Okay. We are choosing not to run Plasma. We do have a Plasma. We were just going to just pure OTK, where we're not really going to try to go first. Just with all the card and resources that we have, we were just trying to kill our opponents. So then our last card to talk about in our monsters is going to be the Evil Hero Adjusted Gold. Obvious reasons why he's here. Super powerful card. It would be awesome if he wasn't a fiend, but for the ability to search him with Rhoda. But you can get him with your Stratos, you know, and you can get him with your Hero Lives if you need to. You never do that, never. But you can do that with other plays, obviously, using the Hero Lives. So you're always, it was just a pseudo Stratos anyway. Same thing with Shadow Mist. So there's just a lot of plays to get all the cards that you need and with access to whatever you need at whatever time. It's kind of insane. And a Hero Lives is not once per turn, by the way. Just gonna throw that out there. The Evil Hero engine is really awesome. I wasn't sure I was gonna run it originally. You know, you're really just going to kill your opponent, and this does help you do that. And it lets you play through Nib, which there's a playthrough with Sunriser where you just stop after you resolve the poly or the Miracle Fusion ad, excuse me. And normally, depending on what their field is, that could be lethal. That could be enough for game. So you threaten lethal with that. Hopefully they hit you with a Nib there, and if they do, you can continue playing. There's lots of really cool synergies, and Evil Hero Adjusted Gold and the Evil Hero package allows you to continue on post Nib. So it's just a really powerful thing, and also it could be what you use just to and kill for game. Super awesome card. But that's the monsters. Obvious spells are Poly, Rhoda, Miracle Fusion. We are running 3 Hero Lives. Some people I've seen only playing 2. I think that it is always correct to play 3. They're just so flexible. It's not once per turn. There's so much you can do. You are able to play through Nibs this way with the Hero Lives. It's just insane. The deck it's not scared of very much. It's a very powerful deck right now. So Hero Lives just really makes it even more. 1 Dark Calling, obvious reasons. I do play 3 Fusion Destiny. Now this is, you can play other cards here. There are some different engines you can run, things of that nature, but I like the ability to, if I'm forced to go first, in on a Trident and potentially something else, depending on how my hand looks. But I like that. I like that option. So, you know, I'm running the Fusion Destiny package. I could run it at 2. I think 3 is better. It just lets me see it, and I don't have a crafted Verte. So Verte makes that a little easier to run too. We're running 1 Lightning Storm, which you get out of the packs, oh my goodness, the bundles that they have, the special edition bundles. We have the 1 Lightning Storm. It's a going second list. We prefer to go second, so Lightning Storm has been sick. I would play 2, but I don't want to craft it. Also, I don't know how I would incorporate it with a space. You don't have to have that if you don't, or run that if you don't have it, but you should have it by now. 2 Super Polys. This card is obscene. I didn't see it a ton. Unfortunately, in my grind up, it would have been probably so much better if I had, or easier, I guess. Card's insane. We run some extra deck cards literally just dedicated to this because we have the space. Not everything is crafted. This is a very expensive deck to craft 100%. But we did 2 mass change. We saw it too much at 3. We saw it very frequently at 2, like almost the perfect amount at 2. It was awesome. Definitely helped us clutch some games where we needed to just win. 2 called by. You don't have to craft the second one if you're, again, preparing for the TCG list. I do suggest it. The call by was obscene, obviously. Speaking of obscene cards, droplets. If you're going to build this list, you can substitute this card with a chalice. You can, or like with chalices as the replacement. It's a rare, it's cheaper. Droplets has too much synergy not to run, and I implore you to please craft 3 droplets. 3. We did 2 droplets, 2 Imperm for a while. We just couldn't do it. We had to have 3 and 3. It just lets us go second so much easier. It sets up so much combo. There's so much that it does for you. I implore you to craft the droplets. Same with Imperm. I've been preaching this and harping it in every group and every chat that I talk about it in. I think Imperm is hands down one of the best hand traps in the game. I think it's worth it. You don't have to craft 3. I did for sure. I love it. I have no regrets whatsoever. But definitely droplets. Droplets was beyond words incredible in this deck. So for the extra deck, We are running one Mud Dragon. This is kind of for the Super Poly. You find out very quickly that not all Omni heroes are Omni, and they actually take an Elemental hero, and you end on a lot of Vision heroes or Destiny heroes instead of Elemental heroes. So it doesn't always come up, so this kind of helps. I only have one Dark Law. We have not crafted the second. A second would have been amazing. There are a lot of cards you could take out, for instance, the Koga. But we've won one Sunrise. Sunrise is Chef's Kiss. Incredible card. I just love Sunrise. I cannot speak highly enough about it. Same thing with Absolute Zero. Absolute Zero did its absolute job. Also the namesake of the channel, Team Absolute. Awesome. But we run one Shining for the Super Poly. There's a lot of cards we can hit here to just kind of make sure their effects resolve or to remove threats and just punch for game. It does get a 300 boost for every banished elemental hero you have. It does have an effect that lets you add 2 from your banished pile when it's sent to the graveyard, but it is a when you can, so it has a window to miss that activation timing. So that's good to remember. We run one Acid for obviously the Mass Change Ab-Zero play, one Escuderio for the for Miracle Fusion if we're in that situation and we can't get access to a water or a light, or for the Super Poly. Again, this does require an elemental hero, however. One Koga for the Sunriser to resolve effect if we need it, or to go off of the Shining if we're trying to punch for game and have lethal that way. Koga's also kind of busted in and of itself, but it's not necessary. You don't see it a ton. One card I do think that really does stand out in the extra deck is Divine Wind. Divine Wind cannot be destroyed by battle. If only one of your opponent's monsters can attack per turn. I had a point where I had locked out a Tri-Brigade player. He had no in-deck resources to special summon Beast Warriors, and he had no extra deck monsters to link into, so he could not out my Divine Wind. So the card is just, it can do work. Obviously, it's a very situational scenario. It has come up in other ways. I just remember that very specifically as it was in one of our final matches to rank up. But the card really does put in work, and it allows you to avoid Valor or, Imperm or Chalice or Droplet if they are trying to do those things in response to your Stratos effects. You can do the Mass Change on the Stratos, summon the Divine Wind, get rid of the Stratos, and resolve effect in Grave. So that's pretty insane. Continuing with the Masked Heroes, we do play one Anki. He can attack directly for half of his attack, which is half of 28. So that can come up, but it doesn't a ton. His secondary effect is what's huge. It allows you to destroy monsters, send it to grave, and if you do, add a Mass Change card to your hand, so you can change it into Dark Law and attack for that extra bit of damage and hopefully swing for game. Super powerful. Then as far as our Destiny heroes, we run one Dystopia. He's a pseudo... oh my goodness, I forgot Drident's name. Pseudo Drident, super powerful card. He can actually be lethal just with an attack boost or by himself in general. Big monster. Also helps you put your Mally in grave if you need to. But it's a super powerful card. It lets you go first a little easier. I loved it. Had no complaints with it the entire time, and it did everything I wanted to and more. We do run the one Evil Hero Malicious Bane. This card is obscene. So good. Loved this card. Could not have asked for more out of it. It wasn't as overwhelming as one might think, but it was just perfect to get there for lethal. Consistently helped me play through nibs. Consistently helped me swing for lethal, and that's all I wanted it to do. 2 cross-out Crusaders. You do not have to run 2. You can run 1. I liked the recurrence of 2. It came up maybe once or twice. Not really that relevant. You can edit the deck as you see fit, or the extra deck, excuse me. And then 1 Dread Decimator. It didn't come up a ton. It did its job when it did. I'd still 100% run it. I would still 100% run it. You can mess around with this deck. You can add Lightning Storms more, or some Regekis, or whatever you want to do. It's a very flexible deck. It has a lot of opportunities. This thing took me straight to Plat 1. There's so many different lines of plays, and the longer you play it, the more you're just going to discover them and explore them, and you're just going to be blown away by what all this deck can do and how flexible and high the ceiling actually is in this format. Obviously, some problem cards are Maxi, Nibiru. Ash doesn't do as much as you think that it would. I was still able to hit for lethal through Ashes and Valors and so much negation. I mean, it was just crazy what all this deck just chose to play through. I wish I had saved. I mean, it's probably still on the VOD over at twitch.tv/halfthunk, where we streamed all of our grind to Plat 1. But I'm sure it's over in the VOD. This guy had a card for card answer, and the deck was still able to, for every play I had, he had a card for card answer for every single play, and we were still able to just get there and grind and get there. It was obscene. The deck just has so much resources. I think the only limitations to the deck are you as a player. I mean, I think the only time, except for one time, that I lost where my opponent just, they had it. Out of the 4 to 5 times I lost, it was only once where they just had it, and they did just have it. I was losing to myself so much. I mean, just so much to myself, and like not playing the deck as optimally as it can be. And I would love to see what all hero could do in this format with a good player, or a better player. Let me rephrase. A better player, or even a better deck builder for that matter. I think the list I have here is fantastic. It could be better. I mean, it's straight up, it could just be better. There's 3 hero lives. I mean, what's not to abuse? So please, by all means, leave me your list down below. We plan to do tournaments. Like I said, there will be a link to the Discord in the description below. Let me know what you guys are thinking, how you guys are enjoying it, where you're stuck at, where you're succeeding at. I would just love to know your stories and what's going on. Tell me in the Discord. Tell me in the comments below. Give us a thumbs up. Make sure to hit that follow button, that subscribe button, all that fun stuff. Check us out on Twitch. It means the world to us. It lets us continue doing what we're doing, and that's awesome. So thank you guys. Again, make sure to slam that subscribe button. Love you.